In this wild ride, we're here to say we're living the imperfect way.
Oh my goodness. So, at least I don't sound like a bag of crap like I did last week. Editing last week's podcast, I'm like, who's this man on with Eve?
What is freaking out? My name is Eve.
My name is Sara.
Sara made a plan for February, and I was like reviewing them, and I'm like, I think we've already done this one.
And my favorite
We've already done this one.
My favorite was, I don't really want to do that one. I'm like, well, the plan was there.
Well, it was like, it was one that I would have needed to prep. Like, it was like doing something for 2 weeks, and then like what we realized, and I was like, I haven't done anything for 2 weeks. I could say crosswords. I've been killing the crossword game.
I've been thinking about doing that whole thing, and I laughed so hard because someone's like, are you a millennial? And I was like, yes, I am. She was like, I have an idea for you. If you used to work in restaurants, banquets, anything like that, I'm like, oh, I'm listening. She's like, blare the song Closing Time and clean your kitchen. And I burst out laughing. I was like, that sounds like such a vibe. That used to automatically come on over top of the speakers in the call center I used to work in.
Mhm.
And there would be this like random on the screens that we had in there, this random like sketch of a camel galloping. And be like, closing time. And we're like, oh, it's done.
Was it always at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was an automatic thing. Nobody knew how to change it or turn it off. It was the funniest thing ever.
What has been your survive and thrive over the past?
Oh, we had that cold, and I will regulate it as a man cold because I got it from my husband. It was terrible. I was the most stuffy I think I have ever been in my whole life. Even worse than allergy season.
Oh.
And there's just residual, which is just very unpleasant. And I'll be like, I'm totally fine. But the worst part of it, and I was telling Eve, I'm like, you know when you're getting this cold, your ears go in and out.
Yeah.
I was unplugging my ears every 5 seconds. And then out of nowhere, I would just go deaf. And then I have to like plug my nose and pop my ears. And I was like terrified because of that really bad ear infection I had like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where literally it sounded like someone rubbing a balloon really fast. And then I guess my eardrum blew. But I was like, yeah, I was just like super tired. And there was just still so many things to do. And I was just like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do my things. What about you?
What about your thrive?
Oh, my thrive?
I'm straight survive.
Well, I can breathe now. Woo. I feel like that's a solid thrive. What else? I hosted a bangin' Shrove Tuesday.
Lovely. Love the pancakes.
If you don't know what a Shrove Tuesday, you may know it as Pancake Day. It is my child's favorite day of the year because you get pancakes, you get to wear pajamas, and this year was quite the combo. It was pajamas, pancakes, Valentine's Day, which means candy. Mm-hmm. And then they also were visited by the BC Lions.
Oh, like an actual BC Lion?
Like 3 or 4 of the actual BC Lions visited the school and to promote, everybody wait for it, BC Hydro and being powder smart.
I'm sorry. I would have been there in 5 seconds. Hi.
My daughter was like, I love football. You guys are so cool. She was so excited.
I remember during school we had like some people from our local like hockey teams come. I think we had a couple Canucks come a couple times too. But it was always like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever. And then you pull out the like picture from when you're in grade 2.
I was talking to my husband and I was like, I remember when I was going to school, we had a soccer player show up, which is not a sport that I knew anything about.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear this guy's last name was Valentine. And I think it was a soccer team called the 86ers that used to be around.
Oh.
And my husband was like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I remember all this. I remember Valentine because I was like, weird. And then I remember 86ers because I was born in 86. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. And then we had somebody else come through at one point. I think they had the local WHL team go through her school one time too.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. She was away for a hockey tournament when they came in.
Oh.
And she was like, well, that was rude. But yeah. And she was like, Tuesday was the best day ever. The rest of the days are gonna suck. And then I laughed so hard because last night I get an email from her teacher and it's like, heads up, we're doing all these assessments and all the other stuff. And they're like, oh, okay. And it's like, so some other classes will be utilizing our Zoom will be outside longer than usual. Please dress your kid warmly. She's like, see, I told you it was all downhill from Tuesday.
I feel like it's been about 2 weeks. I feel like my main survive would have been I slept funny and I threw my back out.
Oh, worst.
And so I was like walking around and I couldn't bend. And I'm like 5'10". So if I have to bend, I've been a lot during the day. It was hard. I'd say also I feel like I might possibly getting the cold, but I also walked a lot in negative like 5-degree weather yesterday, so it could also be that.
Oh, I just walked in -7. My cheeks were chilled and I just felt my ears about 2 minutes ago.
And then my thrive would be, I don't know to any Canadian. I can say this one sentence and we all know it. I believe in the power of us.
Oh, the Olympic 2010 Vancouver Olympic song.
Oh, the best. The Olympics are on. My time that I come out of my shell, turn more into a grandma than usual. I watch everything. It is like my entertainment for the next 2 weeks. Also really happy because the Paralympics are also being more broadcasted this year. They were a bit last year, but it was kind of like inconsistent. I was like trying to watch and support, but sometimes difficult. And so I've been doing a lot of crosswords, which has been great. And watching all of the Olympics. Do I understand 90% of the words? No. Do I understand the scoring? No. Do I still yell at the screen like an angry mom? Yes.
Did I actually understand what was going on in hockey this year? Sure did.
I understand to an extent. I know that there's different international rules versus other rules.
Oh, yeah, like there's no fighting.
They're still fighting.
No, there's no fighting specifically that's allowed, like what's allowed in the NHL.
Oh. And I still to this day think that the most difficult sport is biathlon. You're telling me that you want to cross-country ski and alpine ski?
I'm sorry. You're going to choose that over top of two guys laying on top of each other, torpedoing down a fucking like...
The most difficult one.
Jesus, I don't know. That's terrifying. I'd like to be the guy who's on top.
Double luge.
Double luge.
I watch it every year and I go, what is this?
Who said, you know what, rocketing down by yourself in the most dangerous way possible wearing spandex? That's sad. Why don't you add another person on top of you?
My question is there like Velcro attaching them together?
That's what I always wonder. Do they have like a strap? This sounds really dirty if you're halfway through this conversation.
Do they have a strap? I don't understand. But Canada's been killing it in some speed skating. So has the Netherlands.
No, let's talk about everybody's favorite team in the entire world, the Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh my God, you guys are great.
They are fucking adorable. Oh my goodness, they're in an Airbnb ad. I was like, this is the best thing ever. If you are unaware of why the Jamaican bobsled team is amazing, you need to watch this little movie called Cool Runnings. It's amazing.
But it's like the one time a year, well, once every 2 years that it's like, oh.
Is it bad that I only really care about the Winter Olympics? Like, I don't care, but like, I'll watch it versus like the Summer Olympics. I'm like, dear God, there they go in the water again.
I find it depends on, I'm more inclined to watch Winter Olympics because there's more, I feel like there's, I don't think any Summer Olympians are listening to this, but like, I feel like there's so much difference in everything. Like, it's never like,
yeah,
it's never the same. Like, the running's like the speed skating. So, like, the speed skating, you got a bunch of different
speed skating is so insane when you see how fast they're going.
Yeah.
And also, I love looking at all the different blades of the figure skaters.
And I feel like the Winter Olympics is like a big family. Like, watching the Kazakhstan figure skater win gold, and it's the first time that they've ever won a medal.
Yeah.
And he's like bowling. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And everybody's like hugging each other. And the Summer Olympics, I'm like, everybody just seems so angry.
They're warm and they're all chafing.
Like, I like the gymnastics. I like the swimming.
Oh, the swimming's boring.
I don't understand the horse jumping.
Did you know that in the Summer Olympics they introduced video games last year? In the last one. But don't forget, breakdancing.
That was fully kicked out.
Was it fully kicked out? Because there's actually good breakdancers.
No, she ruined it.
Ah, Why wasn't Australia just banned?
Well, the girl who got second was way better. But no, that one's fully out. I'm confused on why we got rid of ski ballet. Have you seen ski ballet?
I've seen ski ballet.
It's like,
Looks
look
like
at
me
me.
when I'm pissed off.
Oh,
Do they still have the one where you ski and then shoot at things?
that's the biathlon. That's
Oh.
the one I said was the hardest one to do.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah.
Though, who was like, strap 2 pieces of wood to your feet, launch yourself down a hill, and let's give you a gun?
Well, also, you do it for like 30 minutes, and then you have to go, then shoot a gun, and calm your heart rate enough to shoot.
Is that the one that has a bow and arrow too, or is that a different one?
That's a different one.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they do that one. I think that's summer.
Oh,
I think that's
probably. Sounds very Roman.
But like some of them I watch and I'm like, oh, like watching the speed skaters launch each other way more entertaining than like the relay races where they hand a gold baton.
Oh my god, my daughter, we had to explain to her how they measure everything out, and there's a reason why they're all like spaced apart. Because she's like, how come they put the Canadian all the way at the back? And I was like, it's the same amount, but they just start at a different place because one person's on the inner ring and one person's in the middle and one person's on the edge. And she was just like, they stuck the Canadian on the edge all the way at the end. They want us to lose. I was like, so serious, given that you had no idea this was a sport.
But like I feel like hockey you can watch. The Summer Olympics I like try to watch, and I like synchronized diving. But like regular diving, I'm like, I don't know how you score this. At least with like the alpine, I'm not gonna lie. I hear the snowboarding when they do the
Like
the
the
trivet. What's that called?
I don't know.
Snowboarding.
60?
It's like it looks like the skateboarding ramp, but it's a snowboard.
Oh,
Whatever you call that.
call Sean White. I had no idea.
And every single time, number one thing I hear is, I'm on cloud now. And I'm like, yes! I do listen to that, but I just feel like it's easier to watch.
Figure skating was like really bopping with their musical themes this year.
Oh, because it was 90 themed
Oh yeah,
for the short
train
program.
thing.
For the short program. The Minion?
Oh my god. What was the other one? There was another song too where I was like, what the fuck at the Olympics? Oh, it was Levels, which was just rude because I'm pretty sure that's not 90s. Levels by Avicii. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, the 90s.
Dun, 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 dun. No. Oh, was it seriously?
My favorite was RuPaul. Cover girl.
Oh,
But your face in your walk. Head to toe. I also like Piper and Paul's free skate was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
some of these people. Oh, that one guy did like 6 360s or whatever the fuck they call it.
Quads?
Sure.
Triple axles? But it was fabulous.
October 21st, 2011 is when Avicii Levels came out.
Oh. That might have been a part of their free skate. So their short dance was a
They were dressed like Kim Kardashian when she went through that like metallic phase with like the dad classes.
oh, that was their free skate.
Yeah.
It depends on like short program I think has a theme. Free skate doesn't. You do whatever you want.
And someone said, oh yeah, they really love this vintage EDM song. And I was like, fuck you.
2011?
2011. And that means you're way past vintage, Eve. You're a classic car now.
I'm old. But I thought we don't have a plan, so this might be all over the place.
Oh.
But I thought we could discuss like the process and transformation of like. Can you not give me that face? I'm trying to hold it together.
I love how you're being like all official. I'm just sitting here with my mouth hanging open.
But like, I thought we could kind of give some insight into like the process of like how we started with burnt out and overwhelmed and like how we're transforming it into now. Like we kind of talked about it, but like
I was like, we already did an episode on that. It was 2 weeks in to this year.
I know, but like the frustrations and stuff like that, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you've just kicked me.
I didn't mean to.
Like people, I see a lot of people now being like, oh, this is my side hustle, how I'm making millions of dollars. And like, I thought we could be the realistic version of that.
Are you selling socks and panties on the side?
I think like,
For those of you who are on the economy where you're debating about feet pics, welcome. You found your people.
daily. I think like the process, because I recently like, the government released things about different benefits and stuff like that. And like they changed like what the classes.
Oh, yes.
I got an email and they said
I'd like to say it again. Eve works in the healthcare system. She's an essential worker according to the government. And what letter did you get, Eve?
I got told that I was well below the poverty line.
Yeah. We have free healthcare. And they're giving everybody not a whole fuck of a lot.
Well, it's not that, but I just like giggled because I was like, oh. But I feel like that concept is so like, people are like, oh, well, start a side hustle and make millions of dollars.
I know when people don't factor in, oh, I don't have to register GST until, this is Canadian specific, I don't have to register for GST until I make like $10,000. No. Until you make upwards of $10,000, you're still required to give the government GST, but you just you have until you hit $10,000 to pay it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which most people, like I saw, there's this Canadian company from Ontario called XXL Scrunchy. And she got really big, and now she's taking a year off.
That's my favorite. Or when they're like, oh my God, I'm completely overwhelmed. And I'm like, because you're making all of the money? Because, I don't know, release less then. Say, I can only do this many copies.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, when they're like, oh, I see all these businesses that start and then take off, and it's probably because they've deleted the 5 years prior to that.
Oh, 100%. They were like, oh my God, I just started this business and now I'm making $15,000 a month. And I'm like, when did you actually start the business?
When did you start thinking about it?
Yeah. When did you start processing the things? Like, hey, you're not going to sit there and upload something to Etsy and start making $1 million a day.
No. I still do not understand the concept of Etsy.
I am trying to figure it out because I make all this stuff for the social event stuff for my kids' school. And I'm like, if I generalize this and sold this as a package, I feel like people would buy this because there's a lot of people who don't have the knowledge about like party planning. Like you can go buy books and stuff like that, but mine's, you're making a face of
your whole thing. The whole table just started moving.
Oh, that was my. Oh, what's the front? Not the calf. What's the front of your leg?
Shin?
Yes, that one. Oh. But yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I could do that. And then I was trying to make it more generic and like see how it goes. I might upload it just for shits and giggles and see. Because I think it's like 30 cents to upload something on Etsy. He had to pay $10 to start it now.
Do you?
It's like $10 or $20. You can't start Etsy for free. Even if you had an existing Etsy.
Yeah.
Then you still have to pay an initiation fee if you had no prior existing things before their fees changed like a year ago.
Oh.
They do charge a lot of administration fees and stuff too, which is why I know a lot of people go for like Shopify. Like our site and stuff like that is on, both of our sites are on Shopify. And they do charge significantly less. But I think it's more of like Shopify, you're making a site.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to make it like when they brought out Shop, there's like a marketplace feature, almost like Amazon.
Yeah.
Versus Etsy, you're just typing in, I don't know, I want to get cute bracelets for, like I did. I was like, cute bracelets for bridesmaids that you can get personalized.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that you'll find somebody on Etsy, you'll see the score, and then you can do the stuff. Like every single time I get the MVP medallion for my kids' soccer or my kids' hockey team, I go on there and I filter Canadian. Usually I get the same guy in Saskatchewan. He wasn't on there this year. I was so sad. I even emailed him and I was like, dude, you okay? I didn't get an email back, so maybe he's just not doing it anymore. But you go on there and you can talk back and forth with them and it's like pretty simple.
Yeah.
So I think until there's like more places like that, that's why Etsy like reigns supreme. You can get so many things on there. Yeah, there's some stuff on there like people are reselling or stuff that's just shit. But the people who I've had have been absolutely amazing.
I had my coworker bought like a box to like, it was literally just a box. It didn't even have the necklace that said, it was something like, will you be my bridesmaid or like something related to that. She put it in, then like Canada Post went on strike. And so she was like, well, can you send it in the other courier? And we declined to do it. So I know that there's sometimes issues with that. But I also find, like, when you say, oh, I want to start, because we've always grown up with people being like, you should start a million businesses.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, at this point, I can't start 4 more.
No.
Like, that's physically cannot.
It's trying to like route what we do already and then repurposing it is what a lot of people said to do for like Etsy.
And I find also Etsy does this weird thing where it like reconnects and doesn't reconnect. So with Shopify, a majority of them you can like I think it's called like app embedding.
Kind of. It's like an extension.
You basically like, you know, when
Like
you
a plug-in. That's
plug in. Okay. I was like, it's something like app embedder.
Yeah, so that way you just auto post it.
So I've used Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, WordPress.
Oh, WordPress. So
What a throwback, WordPress. There's another one that I've used. I've pretty much used all the basic ones on websites.
Shopify and Shaw Communications Web Space. Where Shaw had a website builder. It was terrible. It was like 1995.
Oh. So I've used a majority of them.
Yeah.
Most people are like, oh, just make an Etsy store or sell things on Amazon. I would say if you want to start a business and you don't want to spend
$1 million.
anything, Wix.
Yeah.
I was like, Wix does have this like AI builder, but I'd say Wix is probably the most simple, basic way for you to build a website.
Which is literally what their pitch is. You can make a website in 5 minutes.
Yes. Which is great. It's great to have a website that you can build in 5 minutes. It's probably the easiest, but what I feel like everybody says is like, you start a business. So we wanted to start.
Well, the podcast was going to be my adventure by myself. And then I was just like, fuck, it's going to be boring if I'm just sitting here talking. Eve, will you do it? And Eve was like, sure. Literally.
That was not how the convo started with, hey, I want to start this podcast. Can you make a logo for me? I was like, yeah, sure. It was called Unverified Millennial.
Yes.
It popped from my Canva. And so I spent all this time and sent it to her and then didn't hear anything for months. So
because I looked into it and my friend had given me the podcast platform that he used. And it was like so complicated and it wanted you to like record it in there. And like there was like all these things. And I was like, I am overwhelmed.
So then it was like our parents got her a microphone for Christmas, I think the year prior, because you were talking about wanting to do something to do with social media, voice acting, something.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, look at
Actually, Dad wanted me to do all that.
Well, Mom supported.
Mom supported. And I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. And he was like, I got you a microphone. Now you have no excuse. And I was like, Jesus, fuck. Okay.
So then there was like conversations. I was still in college because obviously our dad was still alive. And I was like, okay, like, let me know how to support you. And like, then I didn't hear anything. And then I was like, hey, you talked about this again. Like, you're postpartum. Maybe we should do something fun. She's like, I don't want to do it by myself. And I was like, oh, God. Sounds like hell. I don't want to record my own voice.
She was like, as long as I don't have to edit it and listen to my voice, I'll do it.
I edited the first one and it was bad. I'm sorry. I will state, I took IT audiology in high school.
We call that infotech at my school.
Oh my God. I took it in school. I used a program called Audacity.
Oh my God, I fucking hate that program.
Yeah, so
why does it still look like 1995?
My two programs that I learned how to use in that was Cat Scratch and Audacity.
What the fuck is Cat Scratch?
It's how you make video games.
Oh, really?
It's called like Cat Scratch. It's like a coding software.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if it exists anymore.
I don't know.
It's been a while. And I was like, okay. So we were looking into a bunch of different ways to start this.
Yep.
And I'd say Sarah gets the boulder up the hill and I'm the one who has to kick it down.
Yep.
I'm like, we can do this. So we tried Podcastle.
Yeah, which was okay.
It was okay. I feel like it was one of those things where it's like, it's so simple to use, but you don't know how to use it. And then you have to like pay for stuff.
There was some things that you had to pay for that were included in other things. And I was like, well, we have GarageBand. Like, we have Macs, so we have GarageBand already. Why not use that?
And I think it was a lot better if you were doing it in 2 different places.
Yeah, it ended up being where no matter what, you were gonna have to download it off of something and run it through something else.
Yeah. So then we were like, oh, okay, then we learned GarageBand. Well, learned how to set up GarageBand, which I still to this day have that document that's like, when the microphone breaks, how to fix it. It's still in the Google Docs just in case. Because what would happen was every single time that Apple would update, it fully disconnected any audio MIBI, the audio thing that you do to set up the microphone. Pretty sure it still does it sometimes. No, it doesn't anymore. Oh, I emailed them and I said, hi, every single time. And then it was like, okay, we have the recording. How do we get the recording there?
Yeah. How do you get the recording out into the open?
Which I would love to see what my Google search history was while we were trying to figure that out.
Because even trying to figure out the verbiage of what to write.
Because I had no idea the concept of what an RSS feed was.
Oh, so when I thought of RSS feed, that was always in Microsoft Outlook. Like, I worked at a company and there was an RSS feed there, but the RSS feed was always for like newsletters or for like spam emails that you got. So when you said, oh, I have to figure out an RSS feed, I'm like, are you sure? Is that the right thing?
No, I was like, Pam, let me do this. At that time, there was two. It was like Podbean.
Oh, yeah.
And RSS feed. At that time, I think Podbean you still had to pay for.
Oh, and that Riverside one or whatever was the other one. But they were only taking so many people or something. It was weird.
Yeah, it was like back in the day. It was 2022, so it was about 4 years ago. They've updated. A bunch of other things have occurred since then.
Oh, there's like probably a million different podcast platforms.
And at that time, too, the idea of learning how to also edit a YouTube video.
Oh, yeah.
On top of that.
So there was a button to press to make a YouTube video. Yeah. That just floated whatever thumbnail that you had in the middle. And then it shows audio stuff, which I kind of made something that was like similar, but there's more like pictures of us because we're not a video podcast. Because in my opinion, if you're recording, it goes from being a podcast to being a talk show.
Yes. So then it was like the concept of learning how to do that. And then also learning how to do any form of social media at that time.
Trying to do it like efficiently and effectively so you could repurpose stuff. Because like sometimes things just like took forever. This is before Canva had a resize tool. So yeah, it's like copying and pasting everything over, stretching everything out, being like, okay, I'll put it in. And then God forbid they didn't have a story one. And they just had mobile video and you'd put one video on TikTok. It would look great. Put the other video on Instagram.
We didn't even do videos. It was just pictures.
It was just like pictures, but like it was still in video form and you'd put it on Instagram stories and like a quarter of the whole outside border would be cut off. So it was just like trash.
And then I think by the end of season, I wouldn't say season 1 because we started in,
it was like halfway through season 2 that I feel like we really got our groove.
So we started March 13th, 2022 was our first episode was posted.
Yeah.
I remember that it was the 1-year anniversary of her dad dying.
So we thought, why the fuck not start a podcast on that day?
They hit post, and I remember we didn't even think of like what time to post it, and I stayed up till midnight.
Oh, I know. We're like, when do we post it? Also, you had to sign up instead of just doing the RSS.com. Like you couldn't just sign up for that and then automatically be signed up for all the podcast platforms. Eve had to go and individually sign up with the email that we had just made for all the podcast platforms, and Apple will refuse. And she had to use a personal email that she's had since she was little in order to sign up for it because they were like, oh yeah, we won't let you sign up to put a podcast on Apple Podcasts unless it's been around for like 2 years. And you were like, what the fuck?
So I had gotten Spotify, I think, was the easiest to get it onto.
Spotify was the one that we were on. Yeah, we were just on Spotify for the longest time.
I know, because it was easy to find. And then Amazon Music, Pandora, Deezer. iHeartRadio was a hard one.
Yeah.
I had to prove a lot that we were real people.
Yeah.
Spotify I never had to prove, which was great. Apple, I felt like I was doing a security breakdown. Like it took think it took 2 weeks of me filling out forms of being like, now you do it and it's easy.
Yeah.
And I would
Could be.
no, it is. Because I saw people like, oh, you should click this. I'm like,
That is not what we had to do. He would be like, well, I'll work at adding another one for fuck's sakes.
so majority of them are on. I know we're not on every single one, but at that point it was like,
We're on all the ones that the RSS feed pushes to.
yeah. Except for one. One keeps on disconnecting. And then it emails me and then I reconnect it. And I've just given up. I think it's Deezer.
I was about to say, I think it's Deezer.
Because every time I'm like, oh, and then you had to figure out how to make a YouTube channel, which is separate than having a YouTube account.
Basically, you had to sign up for everything completely separately on all the platforms. Then make sure you had all the sign-ins to be able to go and actually connect those in. Versus like it just auto-creating accounts.
Yeah. Which then it was like, don't have the same password for everything. Some people could break in. And I'm like,
Who the fuck's gonna, what are they gonna do, break in?
I have 14 accounts that I'm currently, like, at one point I had a whole notebook. It was just me writing it. Every time Sarah would be like, what's the password to this? And I was like, pull out the notebook.
Oh, yeah.
It's in this page.
Oh, and nothing to broadcast your podcast to another platform is free. Like the RSS feed, there's a monthly fee for that.
Yeah.
And I've even like looked to see if there's other ones that are free. They're not. They'll be like free for one recording a month, maybe, or free for up to so much. But then eventually you always have to pay. And if it's like, everyone's like, just start a podcast and then you can become Alex fucking Cooper, which is a dream. But then it's like,
I think technically, if you record and edit everything for YouTube, you can post for free.
on YouTube, just YouTube, yes. Because it would just be a video with audio or off of it.
Exactly. So
That would be the only place you could do it, but there's some traction, but not like a ton of traction on there.
Shorts you can, but Shorts is more picky about
Shorts
audio.
is like 45 seconds, and you can't have an audio that is licensed at all. Unless I think you're like some high-profile YouTuber, because they're like reposting TikToks that they did, singing songs, and I'm like, are they just not getting a violation?
Maybe. Because ours just get muted. Pinterest got muted again.
Pinterest?
Yeah.
Did you post something with audio?
No. I thought you did. So that's why I didn't look at it yet. But
No, I post everything in. That's the whole thing is, even like, so there used to be sites, well, there is still a site called Planoly. There was all these different sites that were like free for posting, and you would like upload an image and it would like resize it, shrink it, do whatever, and make it worth it. Now you have to individually customize each post to each social platform, because Facebook has a different ratio for their feed posts than Instagram. So if you post Instagram to Facebook, there's a solid half an inch missing on the one side of the fucking image.
at least.
And then some of it chopped off. And the videos, Instagram stories and Facebook reels are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram reels and Facebook reels like are the same. Stories are the same, but sometimes you have to shrink it a little bit.
Yeah.
Freaking, what's the other one? Oh, TikTok. TikTok has its own aspect ratio. Like, they're all different. And yeah, if you have Canva, you don't just hit the resize button and magically it's done. You will have to sit and individually resize the entire thing.
I think also if people were like, if we were a group of friends and one of us was like, oh yeah, we'll do all the editing, all the background work, it wouldn't seem that bad. Like if there was just two people who wanted to do a podcast,
it wouldn't seem like as much work if there was a whole, like even just like a couple people behind you and then you're sitting there like talking at the podcast.
Exactly. So like, granted, this is like for when two people do it.
Yeah, because not everybody's going to start out with a team of people. You might even just be one singular person, just like putting a hope out, trying to figure out what the hell to do.
Exactly. And then it goes into the graphics.
Oh, yeah, the graphics, because you're trying to figure out what works best if you want to do things individually. And you could totally figure out an entire theme, and then one of your favorite podcasts in the entire world completely copies it without knowing you, obviously. They're not in our brains. But being like, oh, well, I listen to them all the time, and I do comment on their videos underneath the podcast platform. I should probably readjust everything.
And then we had talked about, I said that I always wanted to do stationery. Yet to do it still.
No, we did stationery for a hot minute.
For a hot minute. Still working on it. Still got other things in the mix, but and then I was like, oh, I really want this other Canadian business, because it was like, during COVID when like everybody was like, buy Canadian, buy local to your country and stuff like that. So I had started buying phone cases off of a business called Case Me. So you could do custom ones and stuff. And I was like sitting there going, oh, I really want to do. They did a business. They still do a business. It's out of Quebec, I think, or Ontario. And it's called Case Me. And again, their phone cases are great. Nothing gets their phone cases. And I was like, man, I love to change my phone case for every season. I love it to be able to just make my own.
Uh-huh.
And so then that started the journey of like finding out different things. And then we were bringing up different names, which I can't even remember what our other names were.
What do you mean?
For Overwhelmed. We had like a list of names. Was there one?
I'm pretty sure it was really fast though. I was like, I want to have something that's like the label, so that way it sounds cool.
Oh, no. So I would make shirts for work, and I had a bunch of
Literally just out my ear going phenomenal.
do 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 do. I was making stuff like just I had bought a heat press because I was really into making different shirts and stuff, and I had a lot of people asking me like, "Oh, when are you gonna sell them?" And I said to Sarah, man, I'm getting so overwhelmed with people asking about this. And Sarah looks at me. It was like a little light bulb went off in her head and went, overwhelmed the label. And I for some reason repeated it back, overwhelmed the label. And we were like, sick. We didn't want to be classified to one thing. And then at the beginning we were like, we want to do very specific things for stationery, and then realized the process of that. And we were like, never mind. I think like we got so excited about certain things that we were like, I want to do this. 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 And now like it's not that I look at our first like launch stuff, like the logo that I first made. I was like, it wasn't bad. I won't say it was bad.
Nothing was bad. Like, you're just always learning, right?
Yeah.
Or you stare at something so long and you're like, oh my God, this is so great. And as you're like, I need to change that.
And a lot of it was just like not knowing like the different fonts to use, how things translate from like an online thing to a garment,
or like layering things, stuff like that. Also, there's so much work, especially when you're a Canadian, to be totally honest, in figuring out the best like print on demand provider if you're not going to be sitting and making everything.
Yeah.
And like we went through every single one, and there were so many of them that only had certain things for Canada, or if it's shipped out, you had to really worry about like duty and taxes and stuff like that. And there was just so many additional factors. It's not like make, design, stamp on shirt, put on site type of thing. Like, it's a whole other process. And we didn't even overcomplicate things. Like, we would just kind of go through and like see how everything went. And then it would be like, okay, well, now you're going to post a picture of the thing on the website. Or are you going to use the direct image that they made on the print on demand website? Or should you wait till it comes so that way you know what it looks like? And then
How much time should you do prior to the launch to like expose it? Like,
yeah,
I think we tried really hard of like the different combos of things.
Yeah.
And then that led into, so then we had two businesses. And so we were both kind of heavily intertwined into both.
Yeah, we're like always intertwined into both, but we used to do this thing where it was like month on, month off.
Yeah.
And then we figured out it was like I was way more into the stuff we were doing for the podcast, and Eve was way more into the stuff that we were doing for Overwhelmed. We both liked them, but one of them was like clearly the more expert when it came to something.
Yeah.
The better expert, more expert? That's not better expert.
I would say like it came easier to one person.
Yeah.
Like for doing audio and stuff like that, because Sara was editing the podcast, it was a lot easier for her to make like relatable social media content.
Yeah.
Because we would record. We would record, and then it was kind of, unless I took like notes and stuff.
Yeah.
And so then it was kind of like, okay. And I'm like, well, Sarah loved to come up with ideas for the designs, but was like, I don't know how to.
I don't know if it's like a thing in my brain, but I'm like, I can't draw, but I can think of cool things. So I have to like verbally say a bunch of shit out loud, and then Eve will be like, oh, let me translate this. Like, she's a lot more artistic. Maybe I am, and I just constantly default back to like, the millennial S's and those same cartoon characters that I always draw.
I think it's also like when you're making when you're designing something, you're trying to make something that no one else has made.
Your idea is to make something that somebody else has never made, and then all of a sudden you walk through the store and you see it on us.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
Or it'll be like, I always giggle as she would send me like 10 photos on Pinterest and be like, I like this part of this part, and this part of this part, this part of this part. And I was like, oh, okay. And then you put it all together, and it's like your brain at the beginning's like, this is going to be the best thing ever.
And then she sends it to me, and I'm like, not what I was thinking about. Not you. Just like, my idea wasn't exactly what I was thinking.
So then you're like going down the track of that.
Yeah.
And then you reach a point where you're like, okay, I'm in love with this design.
You've obsessed over it for months.
Like, the Breakfast Club will always be, I think, very special in my heart.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, this is going to be the best thing ever. Okay, I did the 2 months before of promoting it. And then you launch it and you just stare at nothing.
No, my favorite is when you launch it and then out of nowhere, the print-on-demand provider that you're using decides that they're not going to have the sweater in half the sizes, the colors that you want, or that the product just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we got samples because we wanted to make sure we liked them. We had a whole set of like hats, and they never went out because when we went to launch them, they were no longer available in our region.
Yeah.
And we were launching them in spring.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in spring. And then we were going to do another thing in the summertime. And it was like, nope, there's no hats anymore. And I was like, what the fuck?
And then it was like going back to the drawing board again. And it's like, is it something that we're doing? I definitely was like, am I meant to do this? Is this just like the world telling me that no, right now?
And then I was like, okay, well, I wonder if we had it where we have this site, but then we also have it where it goes on Etsy, or we sign up for Shop or something like that. Like, just so it's in some type of marketplace versus like people trying to find it in the wells of the internet.
Exactly. And then at that point, we had kind of put Overwhelmed on a bit of a hold.
Yeah.
By like, I would say in the midst of season 3.
Yeah.
Because we were just like, it just like wasn't lining up. Everything kept on like glitching.
More money trying to get samples and changing companies because the one company that we used like oversprayed on some of the letters, and we were like, well, we don't want to have shit.
And then it wasn't the color of the sample wasn't the same as the thing that
No,
came.
totally different. Like, when I got that hoodie, the British Columbia hoodie,
Yeah.
and it was like green on the side. It looked like maybe like a medium hunter green, so like not crazy dark. It showed up and it was like St. Patrick's Day green. And I was
Kelly green.
Oh yeah, and I was like, holy shit, that is so bright. And he was like, oh, I don't think I clicked the wrong one. I'm like, no, you didn't, but look at how different it looks online. Like, oh my God. And then we're like, oh, maybe we should wait to get at least 1 or 2 samples and then show pictures of them.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh yeah, we'll have like real life pictures versus having like those like automated ones with the print on demand. Well, you're waiting for the stuff to come. You want to make sure you order stuff within a certain amount of time. It shows up and it's shit, or it doesn't show up at all.
Or you buy it in Canadian and it charges you in American.
Oh, that was our personal favorite. When Eve's bill was 3 times more than what she thought it was going to be.
And I was like, that was when I got a sticker, a cup, and a tote bag. And the tote bag came, and the tote bag was not anywhere close
to something that we would have launched at all.
No. It was like this tiny...
It was so small, and it was like paper thin.
It's paper thin, and the design didn't even look good.
No.
It didn't, like, the colors didn't match the design and everything else.
And if you look into getting like a DTG or a direct to fabric DTF printer, it's like you're paying a lot of money. If you want to get a really good one, you're paying $5,000 minimum.
At least.
There's some that are like $1,500, but that's like if you want to make a random t-shirt for your kid
Yeah.
and then you get the inkwells. Other than that, it was like, okay, this is really like, we understood that there's a difference. And people also make it sound like when you go on those sites to add things on there, but the t-shirt's worth $10 and you put your image on it and putting an image on the front or doing all these other things. And then you can charge somebody $50. It's like, no, you're literally adding $5 to $10 on top and you're still charging people $45 for
And
like a hoodie.
and you're not even making the design.
No, like there like, even if you are making the design and you want to put something on the front, the back, and on the sleeve,
Yeah.
every single part of that is a separate charge.
Yeah.
So then you're going, okay, from the sweater that you thought was going to be $10 that you could sell for $30 maybe, you're upwards of $65 just to cover the cost of that hoodie.
At least. And then it goes into shipping.
So you're including shipping in the cost. You want to make sure, okay, it's included. You go with a company that has some sort of flat rate shipping. Most of them, you have to pay a membership in order to get flat rate shipping. That's factored into it. And then you're looking at all of these other aspects. Like there's so many different things, or how many color options do you want to have? And what sizes are available the day that you decide to launch for those things? Like you're not working directly with a person because that's not available to someone who doesn't have some sort of like million follower foundation.
Or like even like a loan or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Like, we always looked at things that we would want to wear. And I know specifically even I are very, very in love with, some people call it acid wash, some people call it stone wash. There wasn't a lot of variation. It was just like plain sweaters that you could put things on.
It's very like gilded.
Yeah.
Like if you went to Michael's and you got all the bright colors.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until, I think it was probably 4 months ago, I was like, I'm trying to find this different site. I know that there's going to be one, and one finally launched, and I was like, what? This is our time?
This is perfect.
So we are still waiting for samples for that. But it just, I feel like the level of frustration, it went from like, oh, we're going to do this fun thing with overwhelmed,
Yeah.
to like, oh, nothing's working.
Or even when you look at the sites, specifically like the stationery and stuff, you're like, oh, sweet, this will be totally great. And you get everything set up and you're looking at all the things. And next thing you know, like that one notebook that you made is $65. And you're like, why the fuck is it $65?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, with shipping, and this is a Canadian specific site, with shipping, and if you want to have that many pages, that's what it costs. I'm like, well, that's fucking stupid. It'd be cheaper for us to go to the Dollar Tree and get fucking notebooks and slap a sticker on it. Like,
The stickers.
I am absolutely fucking baffled how expensive stickers are. If you're wanting to have it where the customer purchases the stickers and they go directly to their home, it can be like $30 minimum.
Yeah.
And they're putting it in an envelope.
Like because we were looking into like, still looking into like different like planners and stuff like that and like accessories for it. And I would be like, oh, we can make a sticker sheet. And it was like $15 for one sticker. And I was like,
$15 for a sticker sheet with 5 stickers on it.
and that was like, we've tried to add more stickers and they were like, you have a limit of 5 per sheet.
I know, it was like 5 stickers, and I think the sheet of stickers was like 4 inches by 4 inches.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wouldn't buy that. That's the whole thing, is it's not like who would buy this. It's like I wouldn't buy it. So why would I put it out into the universe?
Why would I charge? Like, to me, when I see certain, like, there's businesses that will just have plain sweaters with one thing on it, I'm like, how can I charge? Like, it used to be like, Old Navy charges $25 for something like that. It used to be. Now it's $45. No, now it's way more than that.
Ugh.
And it's like, how can I charge something for $80?
Yeah.
That I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's not like the quality print that I want it to be.
Not even the print. Like, a lot of people didn't even have embroidery options. And then when they do have embroidery, it's like very simplistic. And if you do anything too complicated, it looks like a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And there's no stylized printing. So it would be like, slap the graphic on. There's no like, unless you found a way to like
age it or make it look vintage yourself and made sure that it transferred over.
God, you just triggered me back to the distress. There was a time that Sarah wanted so badly to have distressed images.
Oh my God, because distress images look so good because I was so bored of the plain t-shirts.
Yeah.
I love a distressed t-shirt, so why not have a distressed image?
I also love distressed images. I remember spending so much time. I went through every single possible Adobe, Procreate, everything that. And nothing was like the level of distress when on Canva and it's like, click this to distress your image. You fucking kidding me? Do you like it was so many because Sarah was like, I was like, I like these like fun cartoons that I can do.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want them to stress. And I was like, okay, she wants to stress. I will try to stress. And it was like months.
But
She's like, did you try? And I was like,
even the distress part though, like you would figure it out and then you'd go to transfer it, the file, and it would be like a box of distressing stuff around it. And it wouldn't just have the image and you wouldn't see it on anything. But for some weird reason, when you would download it or upload it to the thing, it would just be like a fucking mess. And you were like, what the hell? And we'd sit and like be loading each thing individually, checking everything off, making sure it was good. And there was always at least 1 to 2 products that just decided not to sync to the Shopify store. And we'd be like, where the fuck is it? I put it in.
or my favorite thing was is that any print on demand site, there was one that we used and it was before like we learned about branding and stuff like that and having a watermark. And they put their logo on everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I'm not talking like the packaging where you can like change if it's from a place or not. I was like, it said on like the name tag.
Yeah.
It said like in the inside tag, everything said that it was their brand. And I was like, well, like I designed it. Or I forgot that one where you would pick a specific blank you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
And I put it on and I ordered it. Everything followed the like chart and everything. And it got sent to the house and it was a totally different brand sample than.
Oh, yeah. They were like, oh, yeah, we didn't have this size, so we just subbed it for something else. I was like, that's not what we want, though. We want to be able to pick the sample, set the design to the sample, and then know that the customer is getting the same thing that we have, like, that we have intended to have it purchased. So Gildan, ATC, like all those other things. If we choose, say, a Gildan hoodie, the customer is getting a Gildan hoodie, not getting this other random fucking brand because you guys decided to like run out of it or something.
Yeah, then tell me.
Then tell us or warn us. There was like 0 warning. When they pulled the hats, there was 0 warning.
No.
And they pulled, there was like a very specific canvas tote, not the smaller one, but it was like this double lined, like way better one. I had everything set up to go on it, gone. And I was like, where the fuck was the warning on this? Like if I have a thing that's allocated to this and we would like pre-sync it and then just hide it in the Shopify store, tell me that that's getting pulled.
Yeah.
Don't turn around and be like we'd go to launch and we would have had say one or we did it one time where we had like 1 or 2 colors. And I went on and I'm like, there's nothing available because that color is no longer available, but it wasn't flagged anywhere. Like it took me forever to try to figure it out. And then I ended up messaging them. They're like, oh yeah, we don't offer that color anymore. And I'm like, it's fucking navy. What do you mean you don't offer navy?
And then it went into like you have so many options. So then we were doing like every single color of a design. And then it was like, oh, well, we're going to skip back. And it just hit a point that I was like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Like I am trying and it was very frustrating with the like not people buying, but it was more like the amount of effort that you put and like things kept on pushing back.
Yeah.
And then you reach like we were at a point with Burnt Out where it was like I'd say like first season we were happy if we got 1 person to listen.
Oh, I was baffled when we had like 7 listeners.
And then it was like,
who the fuck are these 7 people? Do we know them?
And it was like, oh my God, we're killing it. And then RSS feed was like, we took away all the bots. And I was like, oh.
That all happened at the same time. We had like a bunch of stuff. Like the hats didn't go. A bunch of the stuff, like obviously like we weren't having huge sales. A bunch of the options for the colors were taken away. And then it was like
we're like, oh my God, we're about to hit 3,000 listens. And then all of a sudden it was like, we've now implemented a new bot thing. And I understand now it's like more of an honest number, but it went down to 1,250.
Yeah. And like we celebrate every time someone subscribes and stuff.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
But it was like we were reaching that point that we were getting like 1,000 views on TikTok. We were reaching like higher up numbers, and you're like, you get excited because you're like, oh my God, something's actually working. Like we're doing great.
Because no matter what, nobody's an expert. No one can tell you what to do. Everybody's experience seems to be different, and it's way harder than what anybody ever tells you. And we're like, oh my God, it's working. Like there's some, like, even though we didn't have sales per se, like we're like, oh my God, people are actually like seeing the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah. And like we would have comments and people in our city that were like, where did you get your sweater from? And it's
All
like,
the time.
it's like, oh my goodness, I got it from this.
Overwhelmthelabel.com.
And you're like phone cases, and you're like, oh, it's finally happening. And it was like all of those businesses just were like stopped.
Oh, there was a bunch of them. Like, we had not one but two Canada Post strikes, which is the main routing delivery for Canada in general, and it was the lowest cost on all the sites. So it was either upping it to like $25 for 1 to 4 items or something, or and then we were, but then we couldn't get samples, and then there was things that were not being delivered within Canada to the factories.
Mm-hmm.
So even when they would say that they had stock, they didn't actually, they maybe didn't even have stock for that. And a bunch of the samples cut down to your basics, your heather gray, dark gray, navy, white, black, and if you were lucky, some type of like extremely vibrant, like Christmas red. And that was it.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like a ton of fit options either. And like we're tall. So we wanted to have something that was more like universal and like a unisex type of sizing. And like, if you want it baggy, if you want it fitted, this is kind of what you go for. We went about the part where we were like creating stuff based on like what people were telling us they would love to see.
I remember I think it was like 11 p.m. on like a random day. And usually Sarah and I just wasn't knowing each other.
Yeah.
And I called her and I said, I don't give 2 fucks what anybody says anymore.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's this about?
I was like, oh.
And I'm like,
What about this time?
I understand that it's great when people are like, oh, here's a suggestion for this. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Because every single time it's like that level of frustration where you're like, not that like, obviously it was during COVID, people are struggling with money. But like, we had some people very specific where like, if you made this exact thing.
Yeah. We
And
were spamming out to everybody that we know.
yeah.
And it was like, they could have spammed it out. And those people could have said, I'd love to buy it. But then nobody went and actually did it. And it was something that like, when you make a design and when you're adding all this stuff, it doesn't take minutes. A lot of this stuff takes hours.
2 days.
2 days. Like, it can be like, even if you're making posts, like when you're hitting the resize button, it doesn't resize the image. You're adjusting the image. So you can be sitting there making a bunch of stuff, but then in the end, it's taken 8.5 hours and you have so many posts available, or you can schedule things out and maybe you don't have to think about it for like a week or two, but there's still like, you're not just thinking of an image to post, and there's the captions and there's the hashtags and there's all the other stuff.
But it was more like people in our regular life saying it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. And then it was like, no.
Not saying that we were just like naive. We were just like extremely hopeful that it was like, oh yeah, no, I totally get that. That would be awesome. I'd love to do something like that, and not even like trying to like, it wasn't even like people pleasing. It was like, no, that's such a great idea. I never thought of that. Why don't I do that? You make something, you're like, this is dope. I love it. And then you put it out there and it's like crickets. And you're like, oh. And that's like really hard in general, because you have like all the hopes. You've spent all the time on it. And then again, you're just kind of staring at it.
It's kind of like if you were to plan like a girls' night for crafting.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, if we did this, I would totally do it. And you sit down and say you buy all the supplies for everybody. And then,
They just want to sit and get drunk.
no one shows up.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, I meant like in a later time.
Yeah. Or like another thing, that type of thing. And you're like, oh, even when you're like, oh, like something like this. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, oh, cool. And then like, we understand that everybody gets busy, but it was just like, we were thinking things up on our own. Didn't seem to be working. We were taking feedback from others. Didn't seem to be working. Throwing shit at the wind because we thought of something that, like, for the different provinces and territories, we were like, a lot of the merch is super boring. Why don't we have something like this? That'd be cool. And then no traction. And it's just kind of like, okay, cool. Well, maybe we'll pivot and go to stationery. And we pivot and go to stationery. Up front, it seems very easy, very low cost. And then it ended up being a way higher cost than what we expected.
Well, it was like a way higher cost. And then also, it wasn't like, oh, buy these, like insert, like you click these pages to be filler.
Yeah.
It was like, you have to design all of these pages. You have to design all of these. Oh, this is slightly translucent. This won't work.
Yeah.
This won't work. This won't work. This won't work. And you just reach a point that you're like, I'm doing all that it's listing.
Yeah.
I'm posting all about it. And
When is someone going to see my thing?
when is someone, or the people are like, is anybody like having trouble finding clothes? And you're like I would go on TikTok under our like brand thing. And when we were posting consistently and like we had things and I would type in like wanting to wear Canadian provinces or like some sort of prompt that was like related to the collection or like Breakfast Club or like I love stuff like this. Is there any business like this? I would comment on hundreds of posts and just be like, hi, I'd love for you to check us out. No one. And it reaches a point where you're like, it's okay to take a step back and like be annoyed. Like it hits tax season and you're kind of like, oh,
I made $200 last year. Yay.
which is great. I'm not saying that like that
It's
$200 lost.
But it's like, with the amount of designs, especially that Eve invested her time in, all the time that was invested in like launching, making sure we had all the stuff, getting everything linked, making sure everything was good to go. It was like, that was definitely worth more than $200 of my time. Like
Or like analytics. Because at one point it was like, Sarah's like, if we posted this time and this time and this time and this days and this time and this.
Oh yeah, it became like
I
a
do that.
micro analyst. Like I did data analytics before, but like I was like deep diving into everything all the time, being like, okay, it looks like if we consistently do this, maybe for the next month, but see how this increases the volume.
Hear me out. I'm gonna be honest. Don't think anything did as much of an impact of us not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm not saying, well, when I say like not caring, I don't mean like we don't care about either of them. It was like, it started off with Sarah going, we need to film TikToks. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just send you sounds I like. And then it was like, we would spend a day filming a bunch of them and then she would post them. But it wasn't like it was like 2 minutes per.
Yeah.
Like, and we didn't do any dancing once. We learned very quickly we need a lot more caffeine in order to do that.
A lot more caffeine, a lot more space.
Yes. So then it was like, oh, okay, well, we could do these ones. So then you do, like, yeah, we're in different outfits. We literally just threw sweaters on different ones, put different hats on.
But it was so efficient because we would spend, I think it was about 2.5 hours one time, and I would post every second day for like a month.
At one point, I think we got I think our highest amount we did in a day was 49.
Yeah.
49 TikToks.
Oh, and then I had to make sure I kept posting them because then I had to get a new phone.
Um,
So fun fact, if you record things in TikTok, you have to post them because they're only held to one phone. Unless you we tried doing it because I had 2 or 3 of them where you post them privately and then turn them to public. Don't do that. They get no views.
but also, sometimes you can't do it off of another phone.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was like you had to have the same.
And then there's
iCloud?
TikTok Creator Studio, and I've seen 0 difference in that helping.
Haven't even downloaded it.
Oh, it like shows stats and stuff, and I'm just like, huh.
So then it was like, oh, okay, well, if we just don't put it the level, because at the beginning it was like, which granted, I think still to this day, the number one pin that we have is how to start a podcast.
Oh yeah.
And it was like the amount of, that took a lot of trial and error prior of how to figure it out. But once we started posting stuff like very generic, it would get thousands.
Oh yeah.
But if I was like, oh, it's this perfectly catered Instagram reel.
My personal favorite, one of the highest posts we have, is Eve flicking through a notebook right now.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Oh, and then I also went through the deep dive of, actually I might bring it up again. Is like doing separate accounts for different things. Honestly, if people are listening to this video and they're like, I have no idea, nor do I really care, you can go to, we have hundreds of other episodes.
Hundreds is a little much.
Explore our playlist, but we would dive into like making different accounts. So like when people would be like, oh, I'm Eve from Burnt Out Perfectionist, and they would have like a separate account for them versus like the actual account. And I was like, oh, okay, so I made a TikTok called Diary of a Burnt Out Perfectionist. And then what?
The highest rated YouTube short we have is Daily Shimmy Day 4 when I was doing that. It has 16,000 views. Oh, 16,000 people watching. And sometimes it's like based on the music that you do, but then it's also like you can overthink and make this like completely great TikTok and it will do great. Or you can not even think about it and make one just like half-assed in the car, and that reaches more views than anything that you worked hard on. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's just so like there is no secret book. There's no way to figure it out. They swap things all the time when it comes to algorithms, when it comes to the ways the platform works. One thing I would like to state is thank you to whoever fixed YouTube Studio, the app that you can use on your Apple phone, because now you can actually put the title in and put the description in at the same time instead of having to post and then go back in it.
The amount of times too, I just remember, and like we've had comments in the past, and some of them like kill me.
Oh, which one's like the guy who told me I was using too much sandwich meat? I think about that every single time I make a sandwich.
Thank you. Too.
Which makes me laugh because I take my $2.97 sandwich meat I get from fucking Walmart. That's like 350, not even 350 grams. I think it's like 175 grams. And God forbid, I'm like, you know, when you're feeling fancy and you roll the meat to go in your sandwich, and I used 3 or 4 pieces of that fucking see-through.
And he ripped.
Oh, and this guy just like loses it on me, and I burst out laughing so hard. And he was like, what? I'm like, look at this guy, he's ripping me. Apparently I'm just using way too much sandwich meat. And I was like, the whole purpose is it made me feel fancy because it was rolled. Like when someone makes one of those charcuterie roses.
Yeah.
You're like, you're a fancy fucking bitch. Look at this.
And that's a whole pack of meat.
It is a whole pack of meat. You know why I know that? Because my friend Selena makes those roses, and then her son will grab it and take a giant bite out of the rose, and she'll be like, you wiener, that's 16 pieces of salami.
But I've had, you really need to work on your handwriting.
Oh, yeah. Eve has the best handwriting in the entire world. Someone's like, your handwriting. Just doing a simple TikTok and like writing it out. It's like, your handwriting. Which I'm not offended by any of this stuff. I laugh so hard. I'm like, wow. So you chose to go on the internet today and make fun of the way someone makes a sandwich. Or there was another one too where it was it amazes me how many people can't tell the difference between male and female birds. Because I made a comment.
What?
There was a TikTok where it showed 2 birds.
Yeah.
And they were like, looked like they were like, one standing there and the other one looks like it's just bitching it out. And it's like, I wonder what that fucking male bird did to piss off that female bird so much. And I was like, I posted it and I was like, right? I'm like, this is the funniest thing in the entire world. And the person's like, it amazes me of the audacity of some people online and how they don't know male or female birds. I was like, dude, educate me. Which one was the dude?
Also, who cared? There was one that was like, who does she think she is? Sunglasses with a hat inside.
And sunglasses, a hat, inside because she's a healthcare worker. And we're trying to not make her super identifiable for a fucking smart-ass reason.
Or Threads. Threads to me is like the funniest concept of an app.
I do not get Threads. I'm at the millennial point of I never got Twitter. I still don't get X. I don't get it either. Like, is it just the status box like in Facebook where people would be like, I want to go another Diet Coke today?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
So there's been a couple nights we've talked about in the past that like sometimes if I get like really tired or if I get overwhelmed and I feel like I'm failing in life, you know, as you do, I like go online and I will just like randomly like message back people, or like if you message us on like Instagram and stuff like that, like obviously I will answer in a very nice way, but sometimes I'll message, I think there's something in Threads. I will put things on Threads and like they don't even be that big. It'll be like vocal snoot of the day is walking around the house saying la boo boo, la boo la boo in different tones and volumes. And then another one was, my goal in life is to be sponsored by McDonald's because I be buying a cola and fries almost daily in the migraine season. Spring, a time where flowers bloom and my allergies run wild. I don't know why, but all morning I have been singing that Sally song. Like, this is just me on Threads, literally not knowing. Even, like, expanding to other social medias for both of them was like, I can't remember who it was. Who were like, we should try to post on Tumblr.
That was me.
That was you?
Because I was just like, you know what? So many people are trying to like go back in time.
Yes.
Can't make a MySpace. Let's make a fucking Tumblr. Like, Warren.
Oh, yeah, we're going to post on this. So I'm going to say this flat out. To anybody who was starting a podcast, if you have any questions about the setup, look, we're always an open box. We've had a couple of people ask, and I'm always happy to answer. But we do have a blog.
Yeah, we have a blog. We write it every Wednesday when we remember.
We've been pretty good. I want to do more of them. I just need to, I feel like when I do them in bulk, I have to like sit down and do like 4 in a row.
Oh, okay. I'm like one of 2 ways. Either one at a time, or I'll do a bunch of them. Or what I'll do is I'll be like, this is a really great idea. And then I'll write up a whole outline and I'm like, this could be 4 separate vlogs. Instead of just cramming it all into one.
But I feel like a lot of people aren't honest with the discussions of like business stuff.
Oh, 100%. Everyone's like, I started a podcast and then I got signed by Spotify. Now I make $25 million a year. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, and it's not like we're like, oh, we want to make $25 million a year.
But it's not like
concept.
You put yourself out there and then everything happens instantly. I want to say out of the experience, that's like not what happens for a large majority of people. And it's not because you're not working hard. It's not because you're not creative. And it's not because like you just don't give enough fucks. It's just the way the algorithm is working that day. And there's no way to figure it out. The algorithm is like the Matrix. Nobody knows it.
And it keeps changing constantly.
Yep.
All the time. We try to figure it out all the time.
You can become obsessed with it and still have the same results as not giving a fuck.
True. Like, definitely invest your time in learning about different skills to help with it.
But there's so many different things, and it's literally trial and error. Like, it all depends on what you have. And you don't need the newest thing. You don't need, like, the most expensive thing. You don't need any of that stuff.
I would say, like, the things that are good to invest in, like, most microphones are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, the Blue Yeti ones we got are, like, $120.
But I got mine on sale.
Or $100.
I got mine on sale, and somebody gave me a gift card. So I ended up only being out of pocket $20 for the Yeti Blue microphone. I have the teal one.
The one that
Dad got me was like $55, $75.
Yeah. And it lasted like a year.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, it just stopped working one day.
All of a sudden, it just went like...
He was like, that doesn't sound right.
We don't have the ones with the box. I'd say these ones are probably...
Oh, we got the arms, but I got the arms on sale during the Amazon Prime Day deal, and they were $20 for 2.
Yeah.
The arms are great. I don't smack over the microphone anymore.
And it's also higher up.
Yeah.
And like chairs, we started off with a broken kitchen table.
Oh my God, I can even cross my legs underneath it. So like you can literally make anything work, especially if you're looking at different software to even clean up the audio after the fact. You can record it anywhere because there's tons of different things that can clean the audio so it sounds like you're on a podcast or you're doing an audiobook.
I think a lot of them too, it depends like how many people you have. Like obviously if it's one person, it's a lot easier to set up than when you have two.
Yeah.
You don't need that fancy mix board thing.
I don't get that. And I've even looked into it, just trying to figure it out, because there's like YouTubers that we watch and they're like, oh, I got to do these promos. And they have like a $350 mix board that they plug their headphones into and they record it. And then you'll watch another YouTuber do it with the headphones that used to come for free with an iPhone into their iPhone into voice notes.
This setup's worked for us for the past 4 years.
Yes.
So I think like there's a lot of like trials and tribulations when starting a podcast.
There's lots of
starting
things. Like
business.
it's the whole point is like if you want to do it and you're doing it for fun and stuff like that too, like just make sure that you know that like it can be fun, but it can be hard when it comes to setting up, whether it's anything that sounds like a get rich quick thing that they talk about on the internet. They're lying. If you haven't figured out already, it's all lies.
I think
none of them are telling the truth.
a big thing too is don't go into it thinking you're going to make $1 million.
Also, don't buy anybody's course, because everybody's course is their specific experience. And you might learn something, but you got like a 5% chance of learning.
Yeah, like I'd say definitely go on like YouTube. I think Squarespace used to have a bunch of videos.
There's a lot of the website platforms, or even Shopify e-learning has like a ton of different things that there's so many things you can learn for free. Even like HubSpot. HubSpot has tons of stuff that you could learn for free on too. So you don't have to sit and pay for anything. And just because someone says, or it looks like they have so many, I'm just going to let you know they're probably paying for bots.
Also, if you really like how someone does a podcast, like you can always reach out to them.
You see if they answer you, and if they don't, what's the worst that's going to happen? You sit in their red section.
Yeah.
Like they're another person running something, having a life.
And also like same thing with brand deals.
Oh,
I feel like people make it seem like I'm a micro creator and I got 14 brands to be.
Oh yeah, I get this. I only have 6. I saw a girl the other day who said, I only had 6 people following me and I got 4 or 5 PR boxes. And I was like, who'd you steal them from? Because like, how did you get those?
Every single one that I've seen is like you have to have above 10,000.
Oh, and then I've seen ones where it was like, I only have 1,000 people following me, and these are all the things that I got. And I'm like, do you work for that company? Like, I'm always looking at it like, did you take them? Like, are you that person who lives in like Adeline's freaking like old house and you're just stealing all her PR?
Which like, I feel like brand deals would be great. Like, obviously I would love a brand deal one day.
Wouldn't love free shit.
But it's not like on a day-to-day basis we get like 15 emails of like, hey, we'd love to work with you.
No, we've had a couple of people reach out, which we'll see if those things pan out. And if they do, and it's something that we like. But even if we were to start getting stuff like that, would never promote anything that we didn't like.
I got a lot of allergies.
Especially when it comes to like skincare and makeup, Eva's out. And I saw a girl get a fucking Dollarama PR box the other day, and I was like, hot damn. I would love that. She's like, preview of things you'll see at the Dollarama. And I was like,
I've made it.
That would be amazing.
Or Dollar Tree.
Yes.
I would love like anything like that. Sounds Michael's.
Oh, yeah. Here's a trending craft kit or a trending hobby that's going on right now. And they send you like a little kit to do.
But I think that that's fun. Like if you're solely starting a podcast or a business to make money, like, if it's like, oh, I really want to share this with the world, that's great.
No, that's awesome. Like, go ahead and share the stuff. Just know that it's going to be a lot more work than what you originally anticipated. And that's not shitting on it. That's just being realistic.
Yeah. And, like,
still go do the thing. Like, if you want to do print on demand things and put them on, like, if you're an artist, go ahead and do the thing. But if it doesn't work right away, or if it's a lot more work than we thought it was going to be, you are not alone.
Yes.
There are millions of us.
And thank you for being a part of our journey. And we'll be kickstarting some more stuff pretty soon.
What do you mean?
Hopefully soon.
I don't know. We'll see. We're getting samples.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stay as warped and twisted as ever.
Peace.
Together we'll make it through the night. Burned out perfectionist.